Hey, how you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing really good. You know, sometimes you wake up and you're ready to go. I know you aren't a big sports fan, but for me, Nicole, this is a great time of the year because you have baseball and you have football going at the same time, and it's something else to take your mind off the everyday. And that's, sports is entertainment, just like we talk about, as we say all the time, whether it's movies or TV shows that you look forward to watching, something to just take you out of your regular day when you're stressing out.
Well, I'm happy to hear that for you.
Yeah. You aren't excited about the NFL season?
Makes no difference in my life whatsoever.
That's so
It
funny.
was actually really funny because we had a big Zoom meeting for cheer last night, and we're talking about fundraising. And one of the moms says, like they do in football with the calendar. And I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, I'm going to be the only parent who knows nothing about what they're about to talk about. But it turns out I grasped it really quickly, and I actually was able to explain it to another mom. But yeah, you mentioned football or sports, and I start to panic because I'm like, okay, I'm out of this conversation.
Just curious, when they say fundraising in high school, because it is part of it. It is part of the deal to make it go. Is when they said the number, you don't have to share if you don't want to, but is the number much higher than you expected?
The number like that we have to raise for cheer is
Yes.
about $15,000.
Yeah. Per person.
No, is a team total because
Oh, that's not bad.
no, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's just like how often can you push popcorn on people and so we were trying to do something a little bit more creative this year because the truth is when you do like dine out nights and you sell popcorn, you sell products, the corporations take a huge chunk of
Yeah.
the money. So you're kind of stuck between this place of there are people that do want to buy the product knowing that some proceeds go to your team. Other people would rather just give you all the cash because they don't want the product and they don't want the money split up. So we're trying to, do a bit of both and see how that works this year.
Yeah.
So wish us luck. I'll be posting on Facebook if anybody wants to donate $1, $2, $5. It all makes a huge difference, honestly.
So a couple years ago, I got in kind of trouble in this whole deal. All right, because I have to fundraise too for the high school baseball program that I coach. And what the line I used was, we need 25,000 to run 3 baseball programs, varsity, JV, freshman. And the good news is this year we have the money, and all the parents kind of sit up straight. The bad news, it's still in your pockets, and I got turned in for that. I got in trouble for that line. And
You
so, yeah, I got in trouble for that one. What I thought was genius wasn't so funny. And so
Somebody was bound too tight, huh? One of those parents was bound way too tight.
the problem is we have a high school down the street that raises well over 100,000 every year, and we're 2 miles away, and we struggle for 25,000. So it is very, very frustrating to try and compete. Just get the best kids to go to your school and not the school that's raising the money.
Now, let me ask you a question. When you raise that amount of money, like 100,000, does that also include their gear and their uniforms and stuff like that, or
It does. It does. No, uniforms, but there's so many other things, whether it's baseballs or even dirt for the field or lawnmowers. I mean, there's so many things that people don't realize that go into it. I mean, my coaches literally, and I'm sure coaches where your child is at, they make less than 5 cents a day. I mean, no coach does it for the money in high school sports. They're doing it because they're trying to give back to the community.
Well, listen, our coach got pregnant and left, and that she ultimately quit teaching altogether.
Quitter.
She's a first-time mommy. I don't blame her for a second.
No, I don't either.
And so one of the moms who is a coach in volleyball and other sports stepped up so that the girls could still have a team this year. So she's doing it simply because I think the kids were like, please do it. Otherwise we have no team. So she's really, I really give kudos to her because she's doing this strictly to keep their cheer team alive. But it's, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of responsibility. And people don't realize that, like the choreographer, I realized I went into the wrong business when I realized how much the choreographer makes to step in. I think they spend 2, maybe 3 days with the girls and they make about $10,000, I think.
Wow. Pretty good.
Yeah, I know. They better be good.
That's something else. Well, good. It's good childhood memories is what you're creating for your daughter. So good for you.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, this is true. Well, I want to get to our guest today because, you know, first of all, he and I have the same birthday. So he's
Cool.
already cool. He's already cool with me right from the jump. Yeah, we have the same birthday. And, what I love about him is he's just spends a lot of time just spreading positivity, which, I'm a big believer in. He's like, I've heard him being called the professional optimist, which I think is amazing. And I'd love to hear his story and his experience. And most of you will know him from American Idol, where he covered the Ricky Martin song She Bangs. And with no further delay, I would love to introduce Mr. William Hung.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hey. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
So I have a question. First of all, are you still working for the LA Sheriff's Department?
Not anymore. I moved on from the day job. Right now, I going back to the entertainment, that's motivational speaking, and that's what I do.
I love that. Is motivational speaking, were you do you think you were born to do it, or do you get really nervous and overthink before you do it?
I don't think I was born to do it, but it's more like how I evolved over the years. In the beginning, my entertainment, when it was at my peak, sure, I can perform anywhere, get paid really, really handsome money for it, every single performance, every commercial. But it's normal that I cannot sustain that consistently over the years. So I had to evolve. And I feel like now sharing my story, and that's what my fans like in the first place, the message, the attitude, what I stand for. So it makes more sense for me to do speaking and then add some entertainment on top of it.
Yeah, I love that. I would love to hear you speak one time because, you said something interesting in the clip that I saw about, that being honest. You were saying something about being honest about, if being a great singer means hitting every note, then you knew like that wasn't, necessarily your bag, but it's how you like measure yourself. Is that the word you use? Like,
yes, that's right.
Yeah. I really like that because I've always, ever since the first time I ever laid eyes on you, ears on you, I knew that you were going to be such an inspiration to so many people, including myself. Just with the confidence, the, not giving a shit factor, so to speak. I hate to be brash about it, but it's the truth, doing what you're passionate about, getting joy out of what you're doing and not caring about what everybody else says, says and thinks. I think that there's just something so beautiful in that.
Oh, thank you so much.
So how did American Idol come about? Like, did you always love singing and then you were like, there's this opportunity? Explain that.
Yeah, I enjoyed karaoke since I was young with my parents. And then I went to school at Berkeley. I didn't do so well with the academics. I almost got kicked out of school. Then one day I saw this poster for a school talent show. I just thought, okay, let's try. Let's see what happens. And then I won by singing She Bangs. That's why I have the confidence to try out.
That is fantastic. I'm with Nicole. I mean, so many people are afraid to jump out of their comfort zone. The fact that you said, I'm going for it, and you decided to put it on national TV, and it became, a huge topic. I would remember I was doing morning radio at the time, and it was the #1 topic throughout everybody. We had callers that wanted to participate and talk about your performance, and all of a sudden, overnight became an overnight sensation. What was that like for you?
Wow, so that was so crazy. I never thought that was possible because when I didn't make it to Hollywood, I saw myself getting criticized by Simon, Paula, not Simon, mainly. But I still felt like most of the time when you don't make it to Hollywood, you just go home. Nothing happens to you. Maybe people would get a few laughs, and that's it.
Yeah, not you. not you. Everybody fell in love with you.
Yeah.
And how did that change your life? Were you, I know you were going to Berkeley, UC Berkeley. Did you just like embrace what was happening and roll with that? Or did you like get a regular day job? And like, how did your life change? Like how did you make that decision and how did it change?
Well, I was a student at the time. I did consider like whether or not I should go for this because I have no idea what would happen in my life if I were to pursue the entertainment. But I think that what made it easier to go for it was that one of my friends created this website called WilliamHung.net back then, and it got like millions of hits easily. And then after that, I got the record company, Koch Records, giving me $25,000 for a record contract up front. It was like, whoa, that's a lot of money back then for a college student. It's a big deal. And I don't want to have regrets later. That's why I feel like, you know what, let's just go for it, put school on hold. Yeah, and that's it.
What did your parents say? What did your parents say when you said, hey, I'm going to put academics to the side and pursue an entertainment career?
Well, they were worried at first, but they understand my decision, and then eventually they're okay with it.
And when in all of this did you meet your wife?
Well, meet my wife, that's later, like way after, my marriage is definitely a roller coaster, the journey to this day, because after the first 4 or 5 years, I did get settled down, married. And then that didn't work out. And then I got married again, a year or so after that. That didn't work out either. So married and divorced twice. And then recently, earlier this year, I finally got married again. So that's a long gap. Yeah.
Oh, well, congratulations on the new
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a lot. I've never been married.
No, really?
No. I've got 2 kids. 2 kids. Not everything.
So as far, I'm sorry, Nicole. William, as far as motivational speaking goes, what do you basically use? What is your go-to to motivate people, depending on the audience? What is your story?
Well, the main story is how I got rejected by American Idol. Sometimes I would add like how I got the very intense criticism from people that don't like me. They would say that I don't deserve to be in showbiz. I don't have the talent. I portray stereotypes for Asians. So I use that and let people know, and then let people know this how you have a choice for how you want to handle it. No, regardless of your circumstances in your life, you have that choice to get up and live with joy and give your best for what you really want to do in life. But what you want to do in life is not always what people tell you should be doing. For example, some people told me I should be doing online coaching. Well, I don't enjoy coaching that much. I tried, so maybe that's not for me. So you have to find that what you really want.
Yes, I think that's such a good message. And let me ask you a question. When you first, because the internet and all that cyberbullying and all that stuff, those bored people who are criticizing you, but yet they're watching you, you're getting clicks, you're getting, you're getting audience because of them, even though they're haters. That was all pretty fresh back then. Did you always have that attitude of like, it's my decision how I react to this, like a behavioral decision, or did you have to learn that because of all the mean people out there? Like, were you already in that mindset, or did you learn that mindset? Like, how did that come about?
I learned that mindset from my mom because she said that it's okay to fail as long as you tried your best.
Great advice.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely great advice right there. I am curious, when you walk into, let's say, a bar and it's, karaoke singing, karaoke night. I mean, you're talking to a person that basically is willing to try anything, but I will not sing. I'm scared to death to do it. But when you walk in and you grab the microphone, do people go crazy? I mean, I would imagine that would make everybody's night. The phones come out, the whole deal. That, oh my gosh,
yeah. That is the reaction I get when I perform.
How does that make you
How
feel?
often?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it must be a rush to go, you know what, these people do care about me, and these people do love what I do.
Yeah, that's it feels good, like because entertainment is a form of art to me. Everybody have different tastes, different preferences, so it's good to know that wherever I do, there are people who appreciate it.
How often do you go to karaoke, William?
Not all the time. Maybe like a few times a month.
Oh, you do?
Sometimes I would say maybe once a month in person, around maybe once every few months, and then other times I just sing for fun. Now it's easy. You just go online. You can find the karaoke version of the song, or even use the Apple Music. You can just sing along.
I love that.
Is your go-to song always She Bangs, or is there something else you prefer? Does everybody want to hear you sing She Bangs?
Yeah, so here's the thing. Everybody wants She Bangs, or most people want She Bangs, but I personally, I think I prefer songs that fit better for my singing ability, like Rocket Man or Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Yeah.
Love it.
What made you pick She Bangs for your audition? Like, out of all the songs in the world, what made you settle on that one? I'm always curious about that.
I thought it was unique. It was something different. I enjoy it when I saw the music video and how Ricky Martin, so handsome, dancing all the ladies, having a good time. I like that picture.
I tell you what, if I was you, William, no joke, I'd be stopping off at a karaoke bar at least once a week. I would like literally tell my friends, watch this. I just think it's amazing, the rush that you probably give the crowd, and again yourself, to be able to do it, to make people feel good every single time you jump up on a stage.
Thank you.
Now, let me ask you this. Like, how did people probably are not aware, but William was a crime analyst for the LA Sheriff's Department. How in the world did that come about? Like, what?
Well, I was always, I thought I was pretty good at math throughout my life. So I want to apply that skill somewhere. So just to let people know, it's actually statistical analyst, but it's similar, not the same, because the crime analysts focus more on the predicting crimes, trying to allocate resources. The statistics one is a little bit more with data manipulation. You see all the report numbers on TV. That's that. I know I'm part of that.
Got it. Okay. See, this is why you can't believe everything you read online.
Yeah. It's close enough. They're not trying to. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but they always miss big details.
Yeah.
From my own experience. So today you're doing just lots of speaking, and I saw you singing the national anthem, which, oh my gosh, hats off to you. That is. I wouldn't even, I don't even sing it in my head. Like, I'm such a horrible singer. I wouldn't even attempt that in my own head. So you just seem to stay busy all the time, just like spreading this positivity. And like, how do you do that? You just like, is it just like where the day takes you? Do you seek out these opportunities? Do they come to you? Like, how is all of this happening all the time?
Well, you make your own luck. And right now, one of my recent passions this year is board games. So I know. I look for the right conventions or events. I'm actually very competitive. Even though I didn't care if I win American Idol, I'm actually a competitive person. So I try to compete in poker sometimes. I compete in the board games. So I try to look for the right conventions to go for. Maybe make some cool content like video, we blog, whatever you call it. So yeah, that's the direction I'm going towards. But at the same time, I still don't lose core of who I am, like what people really want me to be, like the positive role model, motivational speaker. So I also put my other hand out there. That's a good metaphor to get. For example, I did the dental festival. Put myself out there. See if I can get even more speaking opportunities. So in a way, you have to, like, sometimes you be proactive. You reach out, you just ask. Yeah, I think I mean I appreciate being part of this podcast. I also sometimes just reach out to the podcast I want to be on. Be a guest, contribute your knowledge and experience.
Have you always had the attitude of being positive like this? I mean, honestly, I think the world's a better place when, we always use the phrase, is the glass half empty, half full, but you're definitely, the glass is overflowing. You're very, very positive.
Yeah. I think that not over the years, it's not that simple. Like yes, I want to be happy, optimistic. Who doesn't, right? But there were times where like the marriage and divorce, or my investments gone wrong. That's when I was like, oh no, what do I need to do? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask that. Sorry to interrupt you, but I was going to ask that right before Dave asked. So what do you do? Like, what is your process to come? Because you're human. Everybody, feels terrible at points. It's, it's a roller coaster. What do you do to get yourself back on track and pick yourself up? And like, what's usually your go-to?
Well, I try to. I actually don't mind. I hope you don't mind sharing this. My go-to is actually the Holy Bible. I finally committed to being a Christian, but I'm not advocating religion or whatever. You can choose whatever that works for you. But for me, that sometimes when I just spend a little bit reflecting, reading that. I can find the right message. I mean, it's the same message, right? They'll tell you like be good, don't give up, treat others right. When you make the main takeaway is that I still take risks in life. But when I take the risk, now that I'm a married man, I'm gonna have family soon. I think about what's the worst thing that can happen to me if I were to take that risk. Can I afford it? That's something I didn't do before, because when I was by myself, I was like, whatever, sure, but now no, because now I'm already like 40, age 40. I'm not 20. So I don't want to take huge risks to the point where I'm going back to zero. You see me serving you McDonald's. No. I'm not going there.
I can't wait to talk to you after you have kids, because you bring up a good point. All of that shifts so dramatically. You become so much less of a risk taker. It's wild. But you're going to make them mad. Yeah. Good luck. Best wishes with all of that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, outstanding. Thank you so much for your time. I was going to say the same thing, Nicole. It's just a pleasure to talk to you, and somebody that's so upbeat.
Yeah, such a bright light. And just, America loves you. People love you. And I know that it's hard to always, be that optimist, but, to fall and get up and fall and get up is, the life lesson here. And you're just such a good role model for that. So you're much appreciated. It was wonderful meeting you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Take care, William.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So again, if you want to get in touch with William, I recommend you check out his Instagram page. If there's anyone looking for a motivational speaker, someone that would like to get in touch with him, obviously a great guy. I'm always amazed by people like that, Nicole, because we were talking about sports at the very beginning, and they always say sports is a game of failure. Your business, Nicole, is a game of failure, right? We were talking about how hard it is to land that role or to get hired again, and to say, how many people, we spoke about on the last show, how many people moved to Los Angeles with the dream of becoming famous or an actor, doing their art and chasing through it. So when you do what he does and says, you know what, I'm going to go for positive way, does your brain work that way?
When I have my best foot forward, it definitely does. I feel like, there's this thing of like work begets work, and, energy creates energy and attracts energy. So it's like, if you are at least manifesting, if you are doing what you can to move towards making things happen, you're going to have a much better chance of things coming your way than just sitting and waiting and overthinking. You know what I'm saying? Because I can be guilty of that too. I can be guilty of being an overthinker. And, stress and overthinking gets you absolutely nowhere except stuck and stagnant. So the thing is to just, live every day And there was always this saying growing up, and I was always like, this is so stupid. Live every day like it's your last. And not until now, we're at this age where people's lives abruptly end way too often at this age,
Yes.
right? And it really makes you see like, okay, I understand what they're talking about. Live every day, because you don't know what's going to happen, and worrying about it is going to do nothing but make the worst come sooner. That's just my theory. And so I really try to, just have the best intentions. I think your intentions are important. I think manifesting on things is very important. Having dreams and, really wishing on them, doing positive things to make yourself better today than you were yesterday. And then sometimes I'm way more horrible than I was yesterday, but then, tomorrow's a new day. And, as long as you just keep your momentum going and keep, that thought process and, that hopefulness, I don't believe we were born to be miserable. I do believe a lot of us carry heavier loads than other people, but, that's also a lesson too. And, I just think we were born to just go for it and be way less stressed than we seem to be. And, that saddens me. So I try my best. I try my best to just keep positive and know that whatever is meant to be is going to be, and that everything is going to be okay. That's something I always tell myself. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, I believe the same thing. I do the exact same thing. It's interesting when you're around someone and you realize they're in your life like almost too much. They're taking up too much of your time, where they're just a downer. And you just go, you know what, it's starting to bring me down. And you have to make those choices in life, and who you're going to keep in your life and who you're going to start hanging out with or spend your free time with. Because as you said, you have kids. There are people in your life that are, 1A and 2A right there next to you that are most important to you when you have kids. And when you have people that are, whether it's neighbors, friends, family, that are just bringing you down all the time, you kind of have to cut the cord a little bit, because that weight is just overbearing.
Yes. I wasted too much time with, so-called friends that were nothing but just energy suckers and
Exactly.
users and opportunists and haters. And, listen, everybody's a genius in hindsight, right?
Yeah.
Everything, so, it is what it is, but it's better late than never to recognize it. It's never too late. And yes, I don't have time. Family or not, that aren't adding, or at least aren't a positive influence in some sort of way. Because it's just, there's too many bloodsuckers out there. There's just too much of, negativity and negative people and people with manipulation on their brain and, narcissists and all of that, that I'd rather just be alone. You know what? I'd rather be alone with my music and, my thoughts and my books and my kids and, and be happy rather than let, negative people influence anything anymore.
No, I'm with you on that. I think it's more and more important. We always talk about mental health, and I think it's a big part of your mental health to be around people that are putting you in a good light, putting themselves in good light. As I said, I was the attitude of believing things are going to work out. With personal side, for my dad and I, we always saw the world different. My dad told me he literally woke up every morning assuming he was about to have a bad day, and if something worked out, it was a surprise. And I said I'd do it just the opposite. I woke up every day thinking today's going to be a great day. And if something bad happened, I would try and adjust and go, well, tomorrow's going to be better. But we never saw eye to eye the whole way through. And it was so weird that how can that be my dad and I'm his son? And yet we look at the world from, a 180 view.
Yes. I think my mom had the same attitude as your dad. Let me ask you something, because I've noticed this in my own life. When something happens, so like take for instance, the other day, my daughter had a doctor's appointment. I had to pick her up from school early. You call the school, they pull them out of class. They're waiting in the office for you. I'm driving to get her, and I get a flat tire. So I'm at the side of the road. It's blazing hot out, but I find it like a little spot of shade. And I'm like, oh, yay, right? I got shade. And so I call roadside assistance. They're like 35, 45 minutes. And I'm like, well, what can you do, right? I call the doctor's office. They're like, no, there's no grace period. And she has to have this form signed. Like, it needs to be signed this week, and it's Thursday. And so I called the school and I said, can you tell her I'm probably going to be a little late? Send her back to class. I'll let you know when Roadside gets here. And then it turns out I call back. She's with Kaiser. And so I call back and, it turns out they've got an appointment at a different office that's like right down the street because I was headed into Hollywood. It's right down the street, the perfect time. It's in 45 minutes. I've got just enough time to get my tire changed, to go pick Keegan up, and then get to this appointment. And it actually turned out to be like a blessing. And I just, the only pain in the ass is I had to go buy new tires that day. But, it needed to happen anyways, right? That's something that needed to happen anyways. But the point is, the lady in the office said to me, God, you have such a good attitude about all this. And I was like, listen, I found a piece of shade to park and wait for the roadside. I was not out in that blazing heat. I'm good. Like, things could be so much worse. And opposed to times when things like that happen and then I get all like, oh my God, and panicked and worked up, and then everything goes wrong and nothing works out. I always find like, if I go into a busy parking lot and I've got like a whatever attitude, I find a spot right away. If I go in there going like, oh my God, I'm never going to find a spot, it's so busy, I'll drive around and around and around, I always feel like I see it happen. I see it work in real life. And so that's how I can stick to that and have faith in that and believe in that.
I have so many friends that whether it's radio or TV where things are going really well and like they make a tremendous amount of money and they live in a great house and everything seems perfect. Family's in good health, but yet they complain nonstop. Like I always say, they're only happy when they're miserable. And it's always something. And I don't know if it's a Southern California thing, because when I go back to visit friends in Tennessee, the attitude's a little bit different. They're kind of like what you just said. You kind of roll with the punches and no need to stress out. But it's one of those things. I always feel like it's a Southern California thing, and maybe I'm nuts on that and generalizing. But like you said, the flat tire that would have frustrated me, because I'll be honest with you, as a guy, the stereotype is guys change flat tires, the whole deal. I'll tell you what, you're talking to a guy who's never changed a flat tire in his life. When I was 16 years old, I asked my dad. I said, Dad, now that I have my license, will you teach me to change a flat tire? He goes, I'll do it tomorrow when you get back from school. I come back from school and he gives me a AAA card. He goes, just call this number. You're going to kill yourself. and I never learned, I never learned. And people always shocked, especially being a man, going, how in the hell have you never changed a flat tire and don't know how to change a flat tire? But that I would have stressed out. I would have completely missed the shade. Everything you found positive, I would have been yelling, dropping a million fucks, probably screaming a bunch of fucks on the side of the road,
I could have. There are days that probably would have, but instead I was like, there's shade. So I made a little quick U-turn, got the spot. And, listen, if it was an emergency, I guarantee you I would have been able to fix that tire. I could have changed the tire myself, but I do pay for AAA as well. And I had an appointment to get to. Why am I going to get all dirty? I had a white dress on. I'm not going to, why I'm not going to look crazy afterwards when I have AAA. So, 45 minutes delay in the day, it's not going to be the end of the world if I don't.
No, not going to be the end of the world. Here's something you mentioned, your mother and my dad kind of looking at the world the same way. I always used to say, and I think there might be a little bit of a connection there, how you were raised. Like if you ever, like grandparents a lot of times are really tight with money, at least my grandparents were. Because they went through either the Great Depression or they were kids of someone in the Great Depression. So they were always afraid of money disappearing. My dad was a witness to his parents' experience in the Holocaust. And so that's about as bad as it gets. And I thought maybe that's what kind of tainted his view on the world, on just his age and where the Holocaust was when he was born, that it was scary. And he was scared his whole life.
Yeah. My parents were raised in Europe. My mom was in London, England, and my father was in East Germany during World War II as kids. My dad always, even when he was passing, he said wouldn't believe in a God, because there's no way a God would have let Hitler do the things that he did. And all these people would have suffered the way that they did if there was a God. So listen, take that for whatever that is. That was his belief. That's how he felt. So to me, that just says this is pretty intense. Like that's pretty heavy. And the funny thing is he was always the one that was like, he was tight with money. But he made good money and he worked very hard. And he always had this like carefree attitude. That's where I think I get it from. It was always like, it's going to be fine. Just relax.
Yeah.
Everybody relax. I think he settled into life in America quite well, was able to like take a deep breath, and like life turned out better than he thought it was going to. Right. So,
Yeah.
and then on the other side of that token, my mom was reckless with money. Reckless with money and kind of a pessimist. Not kind of, she was a pessimist. And so they were very opposite. And I'm a huge mixture of them both. You know, it's just recognizing the traits. It's recognizing like when you do something or you're getting upset over a flat tire, it's recognizing that and going, this is just a stupid flat tire. You know, I'm going to laugh about this later. It's just, you know, realizing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's funny. My sister always has this attitude of, if you're going to be upset about it in a year from right now, then go ahead and get upset. But if you aren't going to be upset about it in a year from now, let it go. It's not a big deal. And a year from right now, you aren't going to be thinking about the flat tire. Just curious, your daughters, do they take on your personality as far as, hey, you know, things are going to work out, or are they young and make a little bit too much out of things that maybe they shouldn't?
I think my oldest is at that age, you know, she's 25. I think she's finding her way. I think she's a bit of both. She's a bit of both. I see things work out for her because, again, her intention is good. She's a hard worker. She, you know, she has a positive, she moves forward, but I do see her get more pissed off than she should about certain things. But that's also, I think, an age thing. At that age, I was too. And my youngest, nothing bothers her right now. Nothing.
Piece of cake.
She could knock over, you know, all the furniture in the house and break it all and be like, oops, you know, let me help you clean it up. You know, like, no consequence, no care. And I blame that on myself, and that's fine. Just, you know, no regard for much. So it's cute, you know, but then there are things she cares about, and she will get upset. Like she broke something and she got really upset about it. And I had to explain to her, like, you know, you had it for a while. You enjoyed it. Nothing lasts forever. You know, you had it, and you know, that's it. And she comes out of it pretty easy. But yeah, I hate that. I hate when I see people get overly upset over things, because there's too much that you really are legitimately upset about. There's too much trauma and there's too much grief.
Yeah.
We're all going to experience it. To get upset over things like, you know, you lose family, you lose parents, you lose friends, you lose people in your life. That's something you're going to be upset about forever. So you got to work on those things, and the other shit, you got to let it go. Like, it is not worth it. You have to put it all into perspective, you know?
Exactly right. Exactly right. All right, let's get to mailbag again. Nicole's mailbag. All you have to do, if you want to ask a question, Nicole, you go to our website, perfectlytwistedpod.com, and you'll see the mailbag right there at the top, and you can ask the question to Nicole. This one's from Tom Carrot. Says, hey, Nicole, in the second half of the 90s, you did a series of independent movies that I thought were really cool. I'm thinking of The Prince of Kissing, Pink, as The Day She Was Born, Siberia. I'm one of the few who managed to see Bartender, for example. In some of these movies, you were the lead. In others, you had small parts. How did you pick your movies, and what can you tell us about the 90s independent films?
Okay, it was The Price of Kissing, not The Prince of Kissing. Anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I messed that up. All right, it was. He had it right. I had it wrong. I'm trying to do the cool move. I don't wear the glasses, Nicole. Sorry, that was me.
Pink is The Day She Was Born, and The Price of Kissing. You know, the 90s were really fun because independent filmmaking was on the rise. It was really, you know, on trend. There was a lot of freedom in making these movies. And I chose them basically off like the cast and who was directing and who was creating. And, you know, I got to meet some very, very creative people, got to make friends for a lifetime. That was a really, really good time in life, that 90s independent boom, because it just was all these creative people coming together. There wasn't a whole lot of money to be made because it wasn't about that. Everybody having a really good time, you know, making a fun project that they believed in. And I was fortunate enough to be part of that. And that's sort of where I landed after Baywatch. And, you know, I just look back on it. I was like, wow, I wish it could be like that again. I wish we could go back to that time. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was fantastic. It was just a really good, fun time in movie making.
What made you say, you know, this is basically the avenue that you're going to take? I mean, again, it kind of seems like a gamble, but you're right. I remember that was a big deal where people were talking about, you know, independent films and awards and everything. Like it was a popular thing to do.
It was. Well, listen, Pink is the Day She Was Born. Linda Perry was producing it. Yes, 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 yes. I will do it. I will be there. What time? You know, where and what time? So, you know, it's just, those are opportunities you don't pass up. Like, what a great, and it was a very quirky movie. And it was a lot of fun. And it turned out the director lived next door to me, like randomly. Like we lived in 2 buildings apart from each other in the Hollywood Hills. And ironically, my cat, I had this big, huge, fat, lazy cat. It was laying on the balcony and he rolled off in his sleep one day. And he was an indoor cat, never went outside. Rolled off and fell off the balcony onto the street. And this director is the one that had the cats. Like full circle moments in life, right? Like,
yeah.
Who would have thought? Yeah, who would have thought? He had my cat. Turns out he is the director on the movie. Just, you know, it was a good time. It was a good energy. It was fun. There was a lot of freedom that people hadn't had before. And yeah, independent filmmaking. That was really good.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So again, if you want to ask a question, Nicole, it's very easy. You can ask multiple questions as well, and we'll put more of those into the next show. But again, if you want to ask a question, just go to Perfectly Twisted Pod and look at Nicole's mailbag right there, and you can participate in the show. But again, our thanks to William Hung. That was really cool. Kind of, I like that attitude. Yeah, especially after us talking about mental health recently. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, great timing. And just, yeah, what a good soul, what a good story, what a good guy. I just love it all. And if we could all have that kind of confidence, that would be amazing. If we could funnel that. So don't forget to subscribe to us, follow us, rate us, and leave a comment right into the mailbag, and catch us on YouTube. And we will see you next week.